Hello and welcome to QuestLore, a family Lorcana podcast where each and every week we come to you and talk about all things Lorcana. I'm Matt.
I'm Malcolm.
I'm Emmett.
And I'm Jen, but this happens to be a special episode.
Because guess what happened yesterday? That's it! Finally! New cards for Archidale's Island.
Arcasia's Island.
Arcasia's Island, yes. So immediately after we recorded, essentially the next day, right? They announced that they weren't coming out with card reveals until February 10th. Immediately after, someone published some product material, like some advertising material early, and it showed 4 new cards as part of it. So whoopsie. Ravensburger has leaned into a little bit. They've released a couple of the cards so that you can actually see some of the images. But we do learn something about what the new tricks are. Normally, I would save them and hide them from the family until our next recording. But with these ones, there's going to be too much talk. We've got a tournament tomorrow for another set championship. And so I wanted to get us together so we could see them all right now.
So we're not spoiled.
You'll get to see their live reactions to it, listen to it, or see it on YouTube to see what they think of everything. One other quick piece of news, because that'll probably get talked about a little bit. They're moving away from Melee. They're moving over to a different system, like a Ravensburger Play Hub that's powered by a different card matching engine.
Okay.
So coming up in set 8, starting in set 7 and officially in set 8, so Reign of Jafar will be in a different system. So it's time to say bye-bye to Melee.
Oh.
Yeah.
But
They're also
still
changing.
the exact
Not
same
miss
thing,
it.
right?
Oh,
Huh?
wow.
It's like still the same Swiss and stuff, right?
Yeah, still the same tournament format.
Yes.
It'll just be in a different. We'll be going to a different website instead of Melee, right? Maybe there's an app for it too. Who knows? Somebody probably knows. Not me. They're also changing the prize structure for set championships. So top 8 still get the Hollow promo card,
okay.
whatever it is. Only first place will get a mat.
Oh, okay.
But everyone that signs up to 40 people, will get a non-hollow version of the promo card for set champ.
Nice.
So everyone that goes in will get that card.
That's
so that's pretty
nice.
cool.
So
That's cool.
basically all we have to do is just sign up, pay a little money, and boom, we get 4.
Yes. So we go to 1, we'll get a play set.
Yes,
So
which
that
is
works for
nice.
us. They've also established that they're going to have a card that you're going to get whenever you buy a box going forward now. So there'll be a special card for that. So they started that last step and they've made it official this time.
Okay.
Last set it was the errated Bucky. So we've got 4 of the 3 cost Buckies, right? The new versions. But anyway, so those are changes. We don't know really how they're going to affect us and our play style, but we'll find out as we roll along and try to discover it. So, but let's dive into new stuff. So, like I said, they put some product material up. The first thing that we can see...
you have to put your camera on.
Thanks. The first thing that you could see is updates to... These are the card dividers.
Yes, so we see Mushu.
Yep.
Wait,
And Pete. A new Pete.
Yeah.
Rescuers.
Yep. And there's the rescuers.
That's already in the game, but
No, it's not.
yeah, it's Bianca.
Miss Bianca's in the game
Yeah,
already.
she's-
Oh, wait, Madame Medusa.
Yeah,
And Medusa from the Rescuers, yes.
Yes.
But Miss Bianca, you've got Pongo lifting up a dirty pup. You've got Baymax. Pete looks like he might be wearing a pirate hat.
I think that looks like Pirate Pete.
Pegleg Pete.
Yeah,
That's
maybe.
his official name.
Yeah.
You've got the Evil Queen, and you've got Mushu. These are all card dividers that are coming in the Trove. So those will be available. They also showed the lore counter that comes with the Trove that will have Bolt on it.
Nice.
So that's pretty cool. That's what you'll be getting. And along with a set of dice. So you get the card dividers, you get the dice, you'll get the Bolt lore counter plus the 4 packs or 8 packs that come with a treasure with a Trove.
Okay.
But let's take a look at a new card just released today.
It is double ink.
So it is dual ink cards.
Wow.
So we didn't get any information about how these can be used, whether or not it's you have to use this in a red-blue deck, or you can use this in either a red or a blue deck. So it's Belle, Mechanic Extraordinaire. It's a Ruby and Sapphire card, double ink.
I don't like this in a Ruby Sapphire.
It's a 9-cost inkable. It shifts for 7, strength of 7, willpower 7.
That's still a...
Quests for 3. Has the ability Salvage. For each item in your discard, you pay 1 ink less to play this character using her shift ability.
Right there. So you could be playing her for like free.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it'll take a lot, right? 7 items in your
They should
discard.
put Hero
But
on the
still,
ban list.
I mean, but still, with with a normal Ruby Sapphire deck, it's not unquestionable.
Sure.
And even if you only have 4 in there, which is like perfectly normal halfway through the game, then you're shifting for 3.
Yep.
Which is perfectly normal.
If you've got a fat Hiram, right, like he's eating all your popsicles.
Uh-huh.
Fat Hiram's sitting there, he's big and fat, and then he calls in Belle with her wagon there to like help him move along. So you can pay less to get Belle out, only if it's shifting, so you do have to play another Belle, which can be a little tricky because the only other Belle really in Sapphire that's been played is the one that can quest for like up to 5. And, like, why would you shift this on top of that one?
Right.
Just so you can get the 7/7 body, that's great. But that's still a lot to kind of give up. Like, if that's alive, why not shift? Why not just quest for 5?
So I'm wondering if there are
right?
going to be some more little red or blue bells coming into this set.
Yeah, there's a good chance you're going to get another red or blue bell
Or
to shift on
red
top
and
of.
blue bell.
Yeah, maybe.
Also has the ability repurpose. So whenever this character quests, you may put up to 3 items from your discard on the bottom of your deck to gain 1 lore for each item card moved this way. Right? So Hiram's gotten really fat off of eating the popsicles. Belle comes out to help him out. And then you quest with her. You could take those popsicles and move them to your deck.
She gained 6 lore in
And you
one
could quest for
turn,
6 in
maybe.
1 turn.
Especially for the decks who aren't playing Tamatoa anymore.
Yeah.
You don't need them in your discard anymore to
Right.
bring back.
Right.
So that's the free lore.
That is the problem with this card. Like using that ability, if you have Tamatoa in your deck, you don't want to do that because that creates this engine of constant drawing.
But there are Sapphire decks that aren't playing him.
Right.
That are working. So
Or maybe this creates a new deck where you are playing a lot more items. There was the Queen variant.
I know, not Item City. Not Item City.
Belle lives in Item City. So we got this clear version of Belle. She did come in. We also got this version of Lady.
Oh.
She's an Amber Emerald card. 5 cost, uninkable. It's Lady, Miss Park Adventure. She's 4 strength, 4 willpower, shifts for 3. And her special ability is Something Wonderful. When you play this character, you may return up to 2 character cards with cost 2 or less from your discard to your hand.
Ooh.
So
Ooh, that's kind of big.
if this is, you have to play this in Amber and Emerald, right? And you can't play it in either Amber or Emerald. Like this will basically have to create, I think, a new kind of deck, right? It'll have to create this reminds me of Doc.
Yeah.
The Steel Doc card, right? So you create an aggro deck with Lady, where whatever shift version of Lady you play that one, and then you can shift this on top of her, and then maybe you bring back Daisy, you bring back Cursed Merfolk, you bring back Bonsai.
Yeah.
All these 2 cost characters that quest for 2, and suddenly you can flood
none
the
of
board
those
with
are
them.
Emerald.
Those are all Emerald. Cursed Merfolk,
I thought that
Bonsai,
was-
Daisy,
Cursed
that's
Merfolk
Amber.
is Emerald.
Cursed Merfolk and Bonsai are both Emerald.
I know Bonsai was. I thought Curse Merfolk was Amethyst.
No, those are both Emerald.
Okay.
So you've got all these high questers that, hey, we got rid of them. Guess what? They're back. So
And it reminds me of like how Perdita was working too.
a little bit like Perdita
So
too.
you could maybe even bring her in and be doing it too. Like so each you could be bringing 3 cards back
Yeah, sure.
every turn possibly.
Yeah, especially since like you could play her, and then the next turn you get your 2 cards back. The next turn you have her sing or have someone else sing, like Mother's Knows Best. Bounce her back to your hand, and then replay her again. Get another 2 cards from your discard. So you could just be kind of cycling through stuff. It's definitely a more aggro strategy.
I see some of the characters in the background.
Yes, there are some characters from Lady and the Tramp in the background.
cool.
So, but there is, Lady. She is a dual ink card.
And it does. Both dual inks have been shifting Floodborn.
Yeah, I was
so I
about to
wonder
say
if
that.
that's
If
going
it's
to
only
be.
going to be Floodborn.
So if it's only going to be shifting Floodborn specifically.
Well,
So no.
every Floodborn shifts.
Does it? Okay.
Yeah, all Floodborns shift.
Okay.
Because it's like you've poured more ink onto the card, so now they've
Okay.
shifted up. They're flooded with ink.
I see.
This does say learn more February 10th. They have not released any details about how dual ink works. We don't know anything. We just have these couple of cards. But the way we actually, so they gave us full images of Belle and Lady. But the way we accidentally saw those cards first, is through just these images here. So we can see
Okay.
Bell,
He's
so we
a
know fully
Dreamborn.
what Bell says.
Right.
But there's also Beast, Frustrated Designer, who's also a Ruby Sapphire dual ink card. He has a cost of 6. He's uninkable.
And that's not a Floodborn.
Nope, it's not.
Nope, not a Floodborn. So the Floodborn thing doesn't work out here. We don't know how much he quests for. He has an ability that says, I've had it, where you can exert him, pay 2 ink, and most people believe it says banish 2 of your items and deal 5 damage to chosen character. So kind of like how launch works, the action that's in Sapphire, but on a body. But we don't know how much he quests for. We don't know what his strength and his willpower is, but we do know that he's there. What's interesting is we're trying to figure out how will these fit into the numbering scheme and the organizational scheme of cards. They both, according to the numbers, fit kind of where the Ruby cards would be.
So like where the left one would be. What about the lady? Is the lady early numbers?
We couldn't see the number on it.
Oh, okay, I see.
But these both would like slot into the Ruby side.
So maybe the one on the left is where they slot in.
Yeah, and then will they all be in alphabetical order? Because right now it's Ruby, then Sapphire. In the Amber Emerald, it was Amber, then Emerald.
Sure.
So will we see Steel, then something else at all? Because Steel's the last one, right?
Yeah.
So will we
Interesting.
see that? We did see another couple cards that had some more interesting new tricks on them. All right, so we saw Iago. So we talked last
Vanish.
time. Yeah. We talked last time how that looked like it was a giant Iago stomping over town. It was. It's Iago.
I called it!
Giant Spectral Parrot. It's an amethyst card, 4 cost, inkable, strength of 4, willpower of 6. He's evasive.
Whoa, we
Quest
missed something,
for 1. I know. Now let's get to the interesting part. So 2 new things on this card. First, illusion.
Yeah,
he's
he's
an illusion.
He's a Dreamborn, an ally, and an illusion, so he's not
Yes.
real.
Not a magic trick. He's an illusion.
He's an illusion.
Right. And then he has this other ability, which is Vanish. So what Vanish is, it's when an opponent chooses this character for an action, banish them.
So
So
it's
it's
basically
kinda like-
Ward.
It's like Ward, except for you can if you really want.
No. So
No?
the way that everyone agrees this is worded a little weird.
Yeah, because usually a character doesn't use an action. You just play an action.
Right. So you're the opponent, right? So if I'm playing you, I'm your opponent. If you have this card on the field, I'm choosing this character, which means you banish that character. So Iago gets banished if I target him with any action.
Oh, so it's
So
a
with-
bad thing.
So with Fire the Cannons, if I target him with...
Even though he has, so in other words, even though he has a strength of 6, that means nothing if you use an action against him. So you
Right.
can sing a song. you
That's
can-
bad
You
against
can target
my
it with
death.
him with Good Job, and it banishes him. Fire the Cannons would banish him. Improvise to give him +1 strength, banishes him. Because he's an illusion, right? So if you try to target him with something, he disappears.
He's not, because he's not real.
Right, exactly.
Interesting.
so-
So that's why he's such a big body and he's cheap, but he has that bad thing. against him.
Exactly, right? He's a 4/6. When you compare him to another Amethyst evasive card in the 4 slot, that's Genie, right? Genie is an uninkable 2/4 that has evasive. He quests for 2 when he draws the card, but like this guy can just wipe the floor with him and live to tell the tale. And he's a 4 cost inkable. So he's a relatively cheap for that big of a body on an evasive character, but he will die to any action that exists.
I love this a lot.
Yes, the art is fantastic. So it's a new thing that we'll be able to play, illusions. So this seems to be a pretty big downside, right? Because if I've got, against any steel deck, they sing any song on it, like it's automatically bye-bye. However, when you look at current like Ruby Amethyst decks or Ruby Sapphire decks, or even obviously like the Mufasa decks, right? They don't play actions. The Ruby Amethyst and Ruby Sapphire decks don't play actions that target other characters, so this guy just lives and you have to deal with him, right? Because you can't target him with Brawl. Because he's a 4/6, so you can't target him with Brawl because Brawl has to be 2 or less.
The only
What's
way
the
you can
skill?
target with him with Brawl
But
or
any
the-
song would work, even cheap songs.
As long as you are targeting another character.
Right. So like if it's like Storm, and you would target him, or
like I think there is a there's a song like Ever As Before, right? And I think that's heal up to whatever number of characters. So if someone has like 5 illusions somehow on the board and you use that, you wipe their board, right? So illusions have to have this bonus side of it's a big body, it's evasive, it quests for 1, it's cheap, but it has that huge downside. So there probably is going to be a lot more mechanics with evasive. The way we saw this card was actually with this Jafar card in the background. So
I called it.
this Jafar card is an amethyst steel card, right?
called
and
that.
the numbering fits in with the amethyst ones. He's a 4-cost inkable. It's Jafar, newly crowned, so he's got the Hexwell crown on.
He is also a dual link.
Yeah,
And
we
he
said
has a
that.
dual ink, right? Amethyst and steel. We can't see his strength or his willpower, but he has this ability. This is not done yet. Only thing we can really tell by what it probably says, it's like during an opponent's turn, whenever one of your illusions is banished, you may return that illusion to your hand. So suddenly it's bouncing the illusion back if you've got this Jafar out and other illusions.
Sure.
So it looks like there's going to be ways to kind of play with illusion characters, or probably ways to get them out for cheap too, since they'll die to anything. And it's something that other decks will have to kind of adapt to really deal with them. Because if you're looking at my deck, the Blurple deck that I was running, you're looking at Ruby Sapphire, looking at Ruby Amethyst. None of them have actions that would take them out for cheap. That wouldn't just take out another character.
And that 4 strength. So if you don't have an action in your hand, like that is a nasty card. That's evasive. That takes out other evasives. That'll take out almost
It's bad.
anything that you put out by turn 4.
Yeah. Yep.
Like there's very little you can put out by turn 4, unless you're playing, you're ramping, that he's not going to be able to get rid of.
Yes.
So if you don't have an action, like I can see people building decks around that. And then the other thing I was thinking too is what's the card that gives other cards rush?
It was a lot.
Like Vitalosphere?
Yeah, like so you could do that too.
Sure, yeah.
Give him rush and then he's unstoppable.
Yeah.
Iago, these illusions are kind of bad for my deck.
Right. So if illusions
don't play
become
actions.
popular, like people are going to have to...
Popular.
Yeah. People are going to have to adjust decks to deal with them. So those are the 5 cards we've kind of seen in the past couple days. We've learned about Duel Links. We learned that they exist. We don't know any of the rules behind them yet. And then we've also learned about illusions and vanishing. So what do you guys think?
I think this was worth it to make a mini episode.
Okay, sure. I didn't want you guys going in tomorrow and people's like, what do you think about illusions? And you're like, what do you mean illusions? You mean like magic tricks? Like, no, illusions, Michael. So we'll have illusions, we'll have vanish, and then we'll have dual inks, and it's all coming in this next set. So
Wow.
exciting stuff. Are you guys
Yes.
excited?
No.
Yes, I am.
I'm excited for like the dueling stuff, but I'm not excited for the illusions.
It could be a new way to play,
Because
Debbie.
I do not want to get rid of my Mufasa deck. It's like my favorite deck.
Well, just throw a couple of actions in there and you're okay.
That's literally the whole point. I can't have actions.
Well-
If I have actions, then I can't have Mufasa.
That's not true. You can still have a few.
You know what this guy still dies to?
What?
Mufasa.
Maleficent.
Oh.
Oh, right, you're right.
Yeah, they still die to like the things that would kill a character normally. So it's not like it's at the end of the world. It's just a little bit harder to deal with, right? So
Yeah, but the earliest I could get a Maleficent out is turn 7.
And see, as a steel song player,
Sure.
I'm fine with this. Like, it's fine. Like,
you're like, okay, I gotta grab your swords. If an elusive deck becomes popular, all right, throw grab your swords, and that's a one-sided board wipe now.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
yeah,
And I'm fine with it too.
but
I don't really pay attention to my other
he's
players'
in
cards.
Amethyst, right? The Jafar that does stuff with illusions is Amethyst Steel. Pete's a steel card.
Oh, you're right.
You
Yeah,
start throwing down Pete's with your illusions.
Yeah, of course.
Guess what? I'll bounce that Pete and play him again.
Yeah. 'Cause there's lots of bouncing. I
Yeah.
love. What do you think? Like, what do you think this could fit into Blurple at all?
Well-
No, this guy no.
No.
Well,
No.
however,
But I mean, what about? I mean, we saw some amethyst steel work at the Continental. So
Yeah, I know there could definitely be a deck. You know, if you're bouncing this card back,
Yeah.
you know, deal with it. And I've got the Jafar out. You got to bounce him back.
I think it'd be fun.
So it'd be interesting to see what other abilities come with illusions, right? I doubt it's going to be just these 2 cards that deal with it. There are going to be more illusions, so it's going to be something you'll have to deal with. It doesn't work in like Blurple the way it is now, but if you built Blurple around Ward, like you've got the Alice that can give other characters wards, so suddenly this character has Ward, you can't target him, right?
Yeah.
So good luck dealing with him if I keep giving him Ward. So definitely interesting stuff. So yeah, it will definitely open up the game, allow for different changes. Already, even without knowing all the illusions, right? All of a sudden, it's like, oh no, I'm going to have to throw some actions now into my deck just to deal with this in case they're ever played. And it's a possible new aggro deck with Amber and Emerald just from that one lady card. So already, you know, we're 5 cards into this set, and it's already like, okay, well, this could change a lot of stuff. A lot of different stuff you're going to have to watch out for.
Yeah.
So, all right.
I like it.
We're going to wrap it up there. Please like, subscribe, follow. You can find us on all major podcast platforms. You can find us on YouTube where you can see some of these cards yourself if you haven't seen them already. Find us everywhere at QuestLore. Send us messages at questlorequestions@gmail.com. You can find us on all the different social media platforms at QuestLorePod. Thank you so much for watching, and good night.
Think with the Dragon for Lorcana.